Welcome back to How You Slice It podcast. Today I am here with Artan Kapxhiu. That's the Albanian pronunciation. We both happen to be Albanian. And Artan is no stranger to pizza. You've been in the pizza industry since you were 17 years old.
Right.
Born in Albania, grew up in Italy, ultimately moved to the US in South Florida, in the Miami region, in Coral Gables specifically. You are a trained chef in London. You spent some time there. We'll talk about that a little bit as well. And today you operate one of the more successful pizza restaurants, Italian restaurants in the Coral Gables area, Forno Italiano. And look, Artan, I think a lot of people can take away a lot of lessons from your journey in the industry, and I'm excited to talk to you today. Welcome, and start off maybe with a quick. Of course, start off with a quick introduction and background. How did you end up in the pizza industry?
Well, originally I'm Albanian, and as many Albanians, we have to leave the country in the early 90s, because of the ex-communist system, So, the country collapsed, so there was no more stable economy, so everybody was looking for better options for their lives, to build a life, and so did I and my family. So I ended up in Italy in the early 90s, where I spent many years, and I grew up with an Italian influence, and that's how I got into pizza business. So I was exposed to pizza since I was 17. And my oldest brother actually was the one who taught me how to make pizza, which I never believed that I would go so far. And here I am today,
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
And for people who may not know, because I get this question all the time, I'm Albanian as well. People are like, where is Albania? It's actually very close to Italy, right over the water. And so I think the natural migration when Albanians are looking for new opportunity or looking to escape political conflict, very often it is Italy. Is that fair?
Yes, I think Italy back then was the best option for us because we are neighbor countries. It's just across the sea. So for those people who really don't know, you just think about South Italy, and Albania is right across, on the east coast of Italy. So, and I believe we do share a lot of culture with Italians. So there is no many difference between us, actually. I'd say, So
that is very true. A lot of similarities. And so at 17 years old, you're introduced to the pizza industry. Were you hired to work somewhere? Like, why did your brother teach you how to make pizza at 17?
Well, again, we had to build our life, start a new life in this country, and after some years I grew up basically, and I needed to get a job, and I guess that was one of the opportunities that my brother, could have for me, to show me and to keep moving on my own, so and I thought, yeah, that was the easiest way to get a job. Even nowadays many young kids, when they look for a job in a pizza place, will be the easiest place where you get hired, no matter if you have experience or not. So I thought back then that it was just a temporary job, but it became my passion. So it's what I do basically.
That's right. And yeah, even today, I mean, a lot of kids, I would say a lot of people have experience working at a pizza shop.
I fell in love with pizza, and I thought, I like pizza. I eat pizza pretty much every day. And since then, I thought this is my life, so I'm very passionate about it,
It sounds a lot like me, to be honest. So at 17, were you working at a pizza shop? Was it your brother's pizza shop?
Yes.
Yeah.
It wasn't my brother's pizza shop. He was the pizza maker at that restaurant. He was owned by different people, and actually I was there washing dishes basically. And beside that, when there was a gap, there was an opportunity that I could go and join him. Next to the pizza oven, I'll be helping him. How to bake pizzas basically at first and get introduced to the dough, how to stretch it. Learn the little details. How to use the pizza peel, how to put the pizza in the oven. So So little by little, I developed some skills,
Of course. And by the time you were 21, you became an operator, correct?
So
how did that happen?
After some years, other than living in Italy, I had to immigrate to London. So I went to England, for some years. So I worked there for 4 or 5 years, something like that, I'd say, if I'm not wrong. And I developed my skills even more actually out of Italy than in Italy itself. What do I mean by that? because not because I was in England, but because the chefs that I worked with, they were Italians, they were immigrants just like me, you know. So even though that I was in another country, I still worked and I was surrounded by the Italians themselves, you know. And trust me, when you meet different people, different chefs, and that's where you get the most of the experience of what are you doing, because everyone has something to give you, you know. So there is something to learn from everybody. My brother, yeah, taught me the basics, but I think I became to what I am today working with different people, you know, and that was the best experience of my life, I guess. And after 4 or 5 years, I returned back to Italy, and at the age of 21, yeah, like you mentioned earlier, yeah, I did open my first pizzeria with my brother in Italy, Bari, Italy, southern Italy.
So you went back to Italy to open up your first pizzeria.
Yeah, yes, I did, you know, because my mom, my brother, so, you know, after 5 years of being away from home, I was so young and I really missed them, you know. So I had to go back.
Yeah, of course. And so you open up your first shop, and then very quickly you have like big dreams. You want to turn it into a chain.
That's right.
You opened up a second shop. Like, tell me,
I did.
tell us about that journey. What went into that whole process?
So, you know, opening the first shop, it was a great feeling. Is what we really wanted to do. You know, be our own boss. You know, and have dreams. You know, to build a better life for the family. You know, because we are 5 brothers. So, and then after a year or two, the pizzeria was really successful. Not just because of my skills, but my brother also. He was very well known in town. You know, because he'd been making pizza for a long time. So a lot of followers. You know, so when people found out that he opened his first place, they really wanted to go and support him. And, you know, we did the best pizza in town, actually. And our pizzeria was not called by the name, but it was called the Albanian Brothers Pizzeria. You know, which everybody knows even nowadays, you know. You don't have to say the names. You have to say the Albanian Brothers, and everybody knows. So after a while, you know, the idea was to make a chain pizzeria. We did attempt to open a second one. We did open it. We kept it for some time. It's a very complicated story. You know, southern Italy has so many problems. You know, mafia is one of the main problems when you are an investor. You know, besides paying taxes to the government, you have to pay one of those people also to be in the business. So, however, the second pizzeria didn't work as well as we wanted, and besides that, there were some problems because, you know, from area to area, there is different people, you know, and how they manage those situations. So we were not happy about it, and we had to sell the second pizzeria. So we ended up with one.
So at that early age, what were some of the big lessons you learned about going from a pizza chef to a business owner? What were some of the lessons, responsibilities?
Responsibilities are many more than when you are a pizza maker. You know, you are literally working 24 hours when you have your own business. You have more responsibilities, and well, it's great feeling. You know, it's great feeling. You know, to own something and to be successful, because you ask yourself, if you do have capacities, you know, and you're working for the others, why not for yourself? So, you know, I encourage everybody, not even in this business, but in any business, you know, never give up, you know, have dreams, you know, there is room for everyone. So, yeah, this is my best advice, I guess.
And we'll talk about your journey now to the U.S. At some point, at a relatively young age, you ended up applying and winning a lottery for the green card, and that brought you over to the U.S. Talk a little bit about that. What did it feel like when you kind of, you know, it is the lottery. It's like winning.
That was a big challenge in my life, you know. I really took it as a joke, you know. I never thought that I would come to the States, you know. I knew America was way too far from Europe, and I never thought about it. I felt comfortable in Europe, you know, in Italy, with all my family members, which, you know, family for me is very important, you know, to be united, you know, and spend time together, which I don't do today, you know. I really miss it, but, you know, however, I'm still happy being here. So I took it as a joke. I played the green card lottery. I found out, you know, talking to my brothers and friends, you know, that this lottery exists, and I never knew in the past. And I'm like, okay, you know, I want to play it. I want to be part of it. And I played once, and I won the lottery.
You played once. That's all it takes. Yeah.
So, you know, then the big decision, should I leave or should I stay, you know? But having my wife on my side, and she's like, listen, we should take this opportunity and just go, and, you know, we'll figure out things when we get there. And here we are. You know, it's been 15 years.
So 15 years, you moved directly to the Miami area, correct?
I directly came, well, when I first came to the States, I came to New York, actually, to your
New
city,
York, yeah.
New York City. I wanted to visit New York City. It was like a dream for me, to see Manhattan and, and Times Square and all that, So after spending a few days there, I had to meet a friend that lives in Boston. I went to meet him as well. He was many years I didn't see him. But, I already made up my mind that I wanted to settle in Miami. So then I came here, and that's what I did.
And in Miami, you started working at a really successful pizza.
Yeah. I did actually. After a few days that I was here, I settled myself the first days in South Beach, Miami, because I thought that's the best place, where a lot of business is going on. So after a few days that I was around, I went to this pizzeria, and Italian pizzeria, and I looked for a job, and I asked them, perfect time. They were looking to hire somebody. They were willing to bring someone from Italy, and then, I stepped at their door, and they're like, okay, great. So they hired me right away.
And what did you learn in terms of, were there any differences between how a pizza shop in Miami operated versus what you were used to running your own business in Italy? Any differences?
Well, it all depends. In Italy, the market is different than here, So here we have a very international clientele, I'd say, because the United States is a new country and it's made from people like us, So we are the Americans. In Italy, you only work with local people. I mean, here and there you might have tourists, seasonal in the summer, but those are by beach areas, not in the city mostly. So it's very demanding. Here is very demanding compared to Italy. Italians, they eat very traditional. They are not very exposed to many flavors. So pizza here is different, I would say. It's a fusion of different, things. For example, if you are in Italy and you ask for a Hawaiian pizza, no one will know about it,
Yep.
So here, Hawaiian pizza is a very popular pizza, and it's not that it didn't impress me because when I used to live in London, also people have this kind of culture there to eat and taste different, flavors, Italians are more like limited to that, I would say. They are very traditional.
More purists, yeah,
Yes.
pure about the craft. And in terms of the way the business ran, was it relatively similar beyond the food?
I would say yes. Not much changed. I think business runs pretty much the same way. Again, when we talk about culture, that has to matter as well because here you have to do with different cultures. Your teamwork will be with people from different countries. In Italy, yes, there is immigrants, but not as many as here. So you don't get to see that. So living in Italy, you integrate in the Italian lifestyle, but living in the States and working with people here, everyone has their background, and you have to respect that. So that's how we do it here. So it's different.
Totally, for sure. And then once again, you have those big aspirations, dreams to own and operate your own restaurant in the U.S. So you go from working at a restaurant in the Miami area to then eventually opening up your own restaurant. But walk us through that journey. I know this is the story you told me, and there's so much.
Right.
It's very powerful. Yeah.
When you come from a background that I own a pizza place, one or two that I told you earlier, coming here and starting all over, it's something that I knew that I had to face, so it was a big challenge for me. Somehow it was not acceptable because, from being a business owner and then becoming a worker for somebody else, that's hard to accept, especially from my personality. I don't know from other people because we are all different, so talking for myself, it was really hard, and I knew that I had to go through this because, no matter where you stand financially, when you move to another country, you're exposed to a different culture, different environment. So you have to get to know the market, in order to become an investor or become a business owner, So it took me some time, but again, I came to America because I know this is the greatest country in the world, and I had big dreams, And if I didn't make it happen in Italy, I say, why not here? But, I needed to give some time to myself. So it took me 5 years actually to get where I am, and very happy about it,
And how did you start your business here? I know it had a mobile concept
Right, right.
at one point.
It was kind
Yeah.
of hard, Ilir. It was kind of hard because I came here and I had many ideas, how to get started, but you need to have a really good business plan in order because you don't want to you don't want to fail, because that's the main idea, because it's going to cost you money and time, so. And for me, I could not afford that, I was here on my own with my wife and kids, so I had to support them, so I had to make sure that things had to be right. So a lot of thinking, a lot of research, being online 24 hours, I'd say, when I had free time after work, and looking here and looking there. So one day, I didn't feel good about myself, I had to bring a pizza to my son every night from where I was working, but he was asleep and he was eating my pizza cold in the morning, So, and one day we were out together and he's like, I want a pizza right now. So we were in the neighborhood actually where I was living, back then. And he sees the Little Caesar Pizzeria and he's like, listen, I want a pizza, daddy. I want it right now. I'm like, there's not such a good pizzeria here, so I'm not going to buy you a pizza. But he was insisting, and I had to buy the Little Caesar pizza, for him, which, for me, it was unacceptable because I'm a chef myself and I know about quality. And I'm like,
Are you
so
saying Little Caesars is not good quality pizza? I'm joking.
Not at all, not at all. But I had to buy that. My son was insisting, so I wanted to make him happy. And then, one of those days I was thinking, what should I do better for my family, So this was one of the reasons. I want to bring it up. This was one of the reasons actually that I still remember that it pushed me to do what I've done. So I was like, why don't I build a pizza oven on my backyard so I can make pizzas for my family at least, The pizza I like, the pizza that I know, the good quality of pizza,
That's right.
So after making some research online, so I meet this guy that posted that he sells a pizza oven from California, an Italian guy from Sicily. His name is Giuseppe Crissa, so I'm very connected to him actually, So he was the biggest support actually, to do what I did afterwards, after I spoke with him. So I was about to buy this pizza oven and put it in my backyard, just for family use, And when I spoke to this guy, he's like, listen, the price that you see online is not the real price, the price of the oven is way more than you were thinking. I'm like, dude, why did you put this price then? He's like, listen, you can have the oven and put it in the backyard and I'll charge you less. But the oven that you see is mobile. I'm like, what do you mean with mobile? He's like, listen, you can have this oven, use it on your backyard and take it anywhere you want. I'm like, oh, that's even better idea. If I do sell the house in the future, I want to take the oven with me,
That's
so
right.
I'm like, okay, let's buy the oven. So we buy the oven and, it was a hard project actually to put the oven on the trailer and do all that design. But this guy helped me out and he told me, listen, we're going to talk together for every step you take. So I did build the oven, and when I had the oven in the backyard, I was so happy. I started, making some pizza for my family and some neighbors actually around, and everybody liked the idea. And I'm like, what do I do now? And looking around, I'm like, oh, I see there is a farmer's market on Sunday, in the neighborhood. So I wanted to check out the farmer's market, and I asked if I could go there with my mobile pizza oven and sell pizzas. And those people were very happy, about the idea. They're like, wow, we never see something like that. Just come over, So that's what I did. I asked my boss if I could change my shift from a day shift to night shift so I could go daytime and sell pizzas in the farmer's market and, still keep my job, From
Amazing.
there, we start meeting people, and people were so interested, having us at their houses, and doing private events like birthday parties, graduation parties, and weddings and so on. So this is how we built the business.
Yeah, and you built a following to a point where eventually then you felt enough confidence and also comfort that if you opened up an actual restaurant.
Right.
That,
it was a request actually from my customers because every Sunday we're meeting at the farmers market, which I built a very big audience, I'd say. There were a lot of followers. They were coming every Sunday in the market just to buy my pizza. I was the busiest stand in the market actually. And guess what the customers were telling me? Our children eat only your pizza. During the week, they won't eat anywhere pizza. They can't wait for Sunday. So you got to open a spot. They were like, of course, they were hiring me here and there for the events, but they wanted to eat my pizza even the other day. So they wanted choices. So they pushed me to open the physical location, basically. And that's what I did,
And what was the process of opening the physical location like? Because a lot of people,
They scare, right?
yeah, exactly. And so,
So in my case,
yeah.
the catering service, the catering business was a big support on the financial side. So I knew that no matter how long it took to open a physical location, I had the financial support because I had that running. So he was already supporting me. It was hard actually, dealing with the city. I mean, first of all, you have to look for a good location. So location is a big thing, So that's what I want to tell everybody. Finding the right location, it's a big thing. And after that, depends with which city you are working with, and you have. It's a big process. It's a long
It's
process
the
actually.
permits, right?
Yes. It took me
right.
6 months to get the building permit from the city. You have to hire an architect, so you have to go through a lot of things, and you need to have a good contractor that you can trust, so they can get things done on time, because time costs you money. Basically, I was paying rent with the doors closed, for 6 months in a row. That hurt me a bit, So
Were there any mistakes that you made that in hindsight you wish you can redo?
not really. I don't think so. Not really. I thought it will take less time, but when I exchange my experience to other people, that I meet, customers that I meet in my restaurant, and they say, what you've done in 6 months, that's great. So I didn't hire an expediter. I didn't hire anybody to do this. I just did this on my own. Every day I was at the city hall doors, and asking for this and that, whatever it took. And I learned a lot of things through the process, and besides that, once you have your facility that is ready, you need food license, beer and wine license. So that's another, experience on top, So
That's right.
it was very, very interesting. It was a little stressful. Again, building a business, it costs you money, so it's not an easy task. And many people probably they run out of money because you never know how much money you'll be spending until you get there. So my advice to people is like, if you're trying to do this, it's a great experience, and I hope everybody gets it done. But there is no such a budget, that you say I have this budget and I'm gonna get it done, because you never know what's gonna come up, through the
That's
journey.
right. Both in terms of money and in terms of time. It always takes longer, and it always costs more. It never costs less, and it's never faster than you assume.
It's never fun.
Did you have? Were you nervous the first day? Like, do you remember the first day where you opened your door to your restaurant? What were you feeling like? Did you know if customers would show up or not? Would they like your food?
It was exciting actually.
Yeah.
We were not even really prepared like 100%, because short staff. You're trying to hire people. That's another big challenge. When you open a business. Finding staff and finding the right ones. So it was not as easy. Yeah, we were a little nervous, but again, I built a lot of character into a business in all those years. So I was not scared. I knew the people that would show up in my store pretty much were people that I knew from the past. From the catering service that I was meeting.
Yeah,
So,
you had built a following in your community, so that it made it a
right.
little bit easier.
Yes, and I kept it local. So I built my restaurant into the same area where I was doing business, basically.
That's right, and where you lived, where people knew you.
Right.
all
Where the
that good
market
stuff.
was located, so not too far from the market location. That was every Sunday. So yeah.
What would you say are the most important elements or qualities of a successful restaurant? What do you think has been the biggest contributor to the success of your business? Beyond the food, obviously, because the food is. I mean, I've been there.
You have to have
is amazing.
family support. Family support. Be united. Work for the same goal. So my wife has been the best supporter through the journey. So I'll say without her, maybe I would have done it, maybe not. I don't know. I have no proof. So the only proof is that she supported me, and I'll say to everybody, you need support, family support. Not only her, but even my brother from Italy that I was mentioned earlier. That he taught me how to make pizza. He came over when I first opened, so he was there the first day that we opened the store to support me, to help me out.
And tell people a little bit more about now your pizza, because that is you're a master of the craft. Explain to people exactly what your pizza is like. I can try. I mean, I've tried the food; it's incredible.
All right.
What is your pizza like?
My pizza is very different from other pizzas that people have seen here. I'm talking especially for my city. I don't know on the rest of the states because I'm sure there is other people like me who do good pizzas out there. So and I'm not gonna say that I'm the only one, but what makes my pizza special is the background of the experience that I have. So I've been in the business, from the pizza business for the 25 years, I guess. And I kept the same recipe that my brother taught me since then. I never changed the recipe. And I always look for the best quality products, like good cheese, good sauce, good flour, extra virgin olive oil. So top quality of ingredients and the knowledge behind that of the chef, the wood burning brick oven, the thin crust. So it's many components. So you have to put all those components in here in order to get good results. So I guess all those components make my pizza special compared to the other pizzerias.
And it's definitely special. Yeah, and I'll add to it. It's like incredibly thin crust. It bakes really fast, right? It bakes within like 80 or 90 seconds.
That's right.
And while it's very thin, it has a lot of strength. So it holds really well. It's not like traditional Neapolitan.
No, it's totally different. This
Right.
pizza comes from southern Italy, again, region of Apulia in Italy. So because Italy itself changes from region to region, not all of them they cook same. So
Yeah.
we have pizza all over Italy, but Napoletana pizza is completely different from Bari pizza, where I came from. So our pizza is very thin crust, 12 inches, so only one style, and it's personal pizza, so everyone can eat one pizza on their own. So
Yeah.
I get all the time this question from the customers: how many people does your pizza fit? I'm like, it's designed for one person. So and they say really, they kind of back up. But when they try the pizza, they're like, oh my god, I thought I'm gonna take some leftovers home, but that never happened.
No.
How thin it is and how good it is.
There were no leftovers when I was there, I will tell you that. But look, it goes to show, because I hear this often. It's like, oh, there's, you can't make good pizza outside of New York. It's the water, it's this or that. And I just think that that's all, to be quite honest, like completely false. You can make incredibly high quality pizza anywhere.
Anywhere in the world. That's my belief, my experience.
That's right.
Based on my experience, I did great pizza in London, I did great pizza in Italy, and I'm doing great pizza in Miami. So I don't think the location matters that much on the water. Maybe on ingredients, yes, of course. The more you are exposed to the Italian imported ingredients, like sauce is very important. And the flour. So other than that, I think everything else is fine, and you can find it everywhere else.
Agreed. What's in store for Artan moving forward? What's in the future? You and I spoke about a second location that is perhaps a different theme. Maybe talk about that, and then.
Yeah, thanks for bringing it up. Yeah, actually, we are almost there. Looking for a second location. It's very close to my pizza restaurant, so it's not gonna be a pizza restaurant. Would be a different concept. Could be a fusion between Albanian and Greek restaurant. So that's my dream. So I want to introduce to local people some of my culture. Some food of my culture. And my wife, she's a very good cook, and she has a lot of knowledge about Albanian dishes, and I'm sure it's gonna be successful. People always look for new products.
Yeah.
So and I think that's what the customers want.
Yeah, and I think your client base for pizza is going to then want to try your, fusion between Albanian and Greek food. Let's call it Mediterranean. I think it'll exactly, and I think that'll be really exciting, and I'm very excited for you.
But again, don't get me wrong, Ilir. I always will be thinking of opening more pizza places, But eventually, when time comes.
Do you think you'll go back to the mobile pizza world?
Well, I still run that side by side,
That's right.
I'm never gonna let that behind, That's something that stays here in my heart. It builds what I have today. It brought me where I am. So I always been, I'm the architect of that business here in Miami. I know other people are trying to do so, but again, I'm the architect who introduced this type of service in Miami.
Agreed. In your own words, how is Forno Italiano keeping local thriving? Because it is an example of a very successful local business That is super authentic. And again, for any listener, if you happen to be in the Coral Gables area, check it out. Go and stop by.
All right. So in my own words, I would say that Forno Italiano, other than giving a good service and a good product to the customers, it became like a spot where a lot of families come together, and meet each other. So this is a great feeling, It's not only about pizza, but it's about everything. So I'd say me and my customers, we are like families, and so are people, they get connected and they talk about the pizza. It became like a social club, basically, So I say life is good around pizza.
Life is awesome around pizza, and it's like a home away from home for people. So I think what better way to keep local thriving? Artan, thank you so much. Yeah,
I'm glad when I hear, feedbacks like that from customers,
Of course. There's no better feeling than you knowing that you're making people feel even more like family. Artan, thank you so much. This has been great. I'm excited to come back and visit you again in the near future.
Thank you for having me over, and I would like to meet you again. You are very welcome to my pizza place anytime soon.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Artan.
Bye-bye.